I'm not ashamed.
How much longer would Pharaoh put up with the plague of frogs? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Exodus on walking through the Bible.
It's worth the glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Exodus chapter 8. We're going to be reading from verses 8 to 15. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Exodus chapter 8, beginning at verse 8. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, Entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may sacrifice to the Lord. And Moses said to Pharaoh, Accept the honor of saying, When I shall intercede for you, for your servants, and for your people, to destroy the frogs from you and your houses, that they may remain in the river only. So he said, Tomorrow. And he said, Let it be according to your word, that you may know that there is no one like the Lord our God. And the frogs shall depart from you, from your houses, from your servants, and from your people. They shall remain in the river only. Then Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh. And Moses cried out to the Lord concerning the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. So the Lord did according to the word of Moses. And the frogs died out of the houses, out of the courtyards, and out of the fields. They gathered them together in heaps, and the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart and did not heed them, as the Lord had said. In this chapter, we have been studying about the second plague that was inflicted upon Egypt by God. This was the plague of frogs. What God had caused to happen was that a numerous amount of frogs would come out of the Nile River, and they would be everywhere. Now, it was not unusual for frogs to appear out of the Nile River, but the quantities in which they appeared was. This could only be a miracle performed by God, who multiplied how many frogs came forth. Pharaoh again called his magicians, and again they duplicated the miracle, either by trickery or in this case more likely by the power of God. What they couldn't do, however, was remove the frogs from the land, which is evident by what we read of today. Instead of calling for his magicians, Pharaoh calls Aaron and Moses to him and asks them to entreat or to pray to the Lord that he may take the frogs away. Lord is in all caps here, so what Pharaoh is saying here is to entreat Jehovah that the frogs may be taken away. In chapter 5, Pharaoh said that he didn't know who Jehovah was. He could not say that now, even though we know that as of yet, he was still not ready to obey him. If the Lord would remove the frogs from Egypt, he would let the people go that they may sacrifice to the Lord. Note, Pharaoh is not saying that he would let the children of Israel go completely. That would come later. He is only willing to let them go and sacrifice to the Lord, the request back from chapter 5. By chapter 7, the Lord had commanded Aaron and Moses to tell Pharaoh to let Israel go completely. But that Pharaoh had budged any is progress. Moses and Aaron could have prayed to the Lord right then and there for the frogs to be taken away, but they let Pharaoh choose the time when the frogs should be taken away, that he would know that there is no God like Jehovah, the one and only God of this universe. Pharaoh's response was that the frogs should be removed tomorrow. His answer here showed the stubbornness of his heart, for even though the frogs were a nuisance and he desired them gone, he was willing to spend one more night with the frogs before having God remove them. If he was ready to believe and obey, he would have asked Moses and Aaron to have God remove them that very instant. However, Pharaoh was stubborn and procrastinated, and this attitude would contribute to what he would do next. Moses told Pharaoh that it would be done according to his word, and the next day all of the frogs died out of the houses and remained in the river only. Note that God didn't destroy all the frogs in Egypt, but he confined them to their habitat, which was in the rivers and streams. The frogs in the houses, though, the excess frogs, he destroyed. These frogs didn't just disappear, though, like magic, for the Egyptians piled up their dead corpses in heaps, and these frogs decayed. These stinking heaps of dead frogs would be a reminder to the Egyptians of the power of God until the frogs had fully decayed. However, just as we said above, Pharaoh didn't really want to let Israel go. He just wanted the nuisance of the frogs removed. And when he saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart again and did not let the children of Israel go. God, of course, knew that he would do that, but once again allowed Pharaoh to make the choice to disobey. Because of his disobedience, though, the plagues would continue, with the next plague being the plague of lice. With that, our time is up today. Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's question and answer edition, seeking to answer the question, do I have to confess my sins before the church? The Lord willing, on Monday, we will return to our study of Exodus, covering Exodus chapter 8, verses 16 to 19, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time.
I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.
Of his cross.